everyone. Hey, Miss Kyle.
Hello.
It's so good to see you, and it's good to see all of you. Welcome to Three Themes Live. We're happy to be here on this Monday, President's Day.
President's Day.
And we're still working.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we are.
No matter what day.
That's right. But we're so happy to get started, and welcome to Three Themes Live, where theme number 1 is something to smile about, theme number 2 is something to learn, and theme number 3 is something to discover. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to Three Themes Live. I'm Kris Thurgood here at my girlfriend's quilt shop. So happy to be here, and we have a really great week planned for you that has to do with going back to the basics, and I'll tell you a little bit more what I mean by that. But I'm also so happy to have Miss Kyle in the house.
I'm happy
Kyle,
to be here.
You know what we haven't done for a while?
I know. You ready? A 1 and a 2 and a 3.
Monday, boom, 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 boom. Oh, we did it! Oh my goodness,
Yes,
it's been way
we
too
still
long.
got it.
We still got it. Oh yeah, you know that's about it.
Yeah.
There was I think there was a Super Bowl commercial that they sang Monday, and my nephew came from upstairs or from downstairs up, and he said to me, "Kris, they were singing your song." I'm like, yeah, that was my song. Yes, it was. All right, well, it's great to be all with you. Let's see, we've got Deb coming to us from Port Angeles, Washington, and Joanne is joining us from Cypress, California. Great to see you. Rosemary from Arizona, thank you so much for being here. And we just love seeing all these faces and new faces. And don't you wish you could really see them, though?
Yes.
I do too.
Yes.
We like putting faces
Especially
to
just
names.
sitting in their sewing room.
Yes. Well, speaking of faces,
Yes.
I saw your face this weekend.
Yes. Yes, we did.
Yes, you posted a picture on Friends of My Girlfriends, and it's the cutest picture.
Why?
Oh my goodness.
Why didn't I just set it on my counter?
Because it's more cute on you, my friend.
It's darling.
Yes,
I am
it is.
such a dork.
Well, you got to tell us about what you did, because this is pretty impressive.
Really impressive, because I don't know how to crochet, and I'm left-handed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you clearly do know how to crochet then,
Well,
right?
yes. Here's what I announced when we first started the class. I said, okay. I sat down, I said, anybody that doesn't like swearing, don't sit next to me. And they all came down by me.
I bet they did.
But I got it. I got it.
I'm so proud of you.
It was hard.
Janice is an excellent instructor.
Oh my gosh, yes she is.
Is she left-handed?
No.
So how did you
But Crystal was in
compensate
there
for
with
that?
me.
Okay.
And now I've started
That's
watching
very
all kinds
helpful.
of, I'm watching Abby stuff.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who might not know, our very own Abby has started doing some crochet videos for us here at my girlfriend's quilt shop. So if you are thinking, you know, maybe that's something I might want to get into, you need to watch them, because she starts from the very beginning.
Absolutely, absolutely. I came upstairs the other day and told her, look what I did, look what I'm watching.
Oh my goodness. Have you been showing it to, your family and everyone?
Yes. And guess what?
What?
I'm sitting in my house. When I get cold, I put my hat on.
I love
get
it.
warm.
That's
But then,
great.
does your head itch when you wear a hat?
Yeah, it kind of does,
Ooh,
yeah. Are you ready to do another one? That's the question.
Kind of.
Okay.
Kind of. I want to do something.
Okay.
And I know Janice has some stuff coming up that I'm going to do. I tried doing a blanket a few weeks ago. I got that far.
I would think a blanket would be so much easier than a hat. The hat scares me.
No, because this had circular needle things, whatever. I don't know.
Anyone who's crocheting out there are like, those circular needle thingamajiggers.
Yeah, that's
okay,
right.
I got nothing for you. But that's great.
But it's been fun.
Good.
Really fun. And I love the colors.
Yes, the colors are fantastic. Isn't it great to be able to learn something new? and to be
Yes.
able to try something new and feel successful at it.
You know what I had to keep reminding myself?
What's that?
I did not know how to read a pattern when I
Yeah.
started quilting, but I can read a pattern now.
Exactly.
So I haven't learned how
Start
to
small.
read a pattern for crocheting. I don't
Yeah.
even know all the things, and I can learn.
Yeah, I
good for
think
your
that's
brain.
wonderful. It is good for your brain. We should always continue
Mm-hmm.
learning. I love that. Well, learning is where
God.
it's at this week. And we're going to start out with Happy President's Day.
Happy President's Day.
Yes, and I have a few little trivia questions for you, Kyle, and for those of you at home. So,
I wasn't good in history.
it's fine.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna do some good guesses. So, I'm gonna ask a couple questions, and we want you to type in the chat and let us know what you think the answer is. All right, you ready at home?
Can I cheat?
And
Look
are
at
you
theirs?
ready? Okay, how about this? The first one is very, very simple. I bet you'll get it.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, our 16th president was the tallest president to date. Oh, hold on. Let's let everyone hurry and put in. What do you think it is? Okay, who is our tallest president to date?
I'm looking for the cameraman to help me cheat.
That's right. Okay, anyone. Who has been our tallest president?
Come on, Debbie.
All right. Okay, it looks like they're coming in. Yep, you guys are correct. Oh, I should have let
already
you.
knew.
You
I
knew.
already knew.
Okay, well, if you know the tallest, who was the shortest? Does anyone know that? Oh. All right. Who was our shortest president? In fact, he measured. Yes. Yes.
I'll be so impressed if I got it right.
Shortest president. He actually measured at 5'4".
Whoa. That's
That
still
is pretty.
taller than
That
me.
is pretty short. Okay, some are saying Taft. I'm seeing Teddy Roosevelt, Grant.
Now his name just went out of my head.
Oh, remember it started with an M.
M.
Truman. Okay, what do you think it? Who do you think it is?
McKinley.
Oh no.
Oh.
But at
No,
least
but-
it started with an M. James Madison.
Oh, Madison.
James
That's what I
Madison was
meant
the
to
shortest
say.
at 5'4". There you go.
Was it McKinley short?
I have
don't
no
know.
idea.
I have no idea.
Okay,
Oh,
speaking
God.
of lefties, out of 46 presidents, how many
Oh, I know.
were lefties?
I know.
Okay, how many were lefties?
That all think out of the right side of their brain.
That's right. 46 presidents on here. How many of them were lefties? Da 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 da.
Oh, yeah. Jeopardy.
Da 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 da. Okay, we're seeing 3, 4. Nope, not it. 4, 3. I don't know. It's a little bit higher.
Closer.
Nope. Okay, I'm not seeing any of the correct answer yet. Kyle, do you know?
I think it was 7.
Yes!
Yay!
7.
Of course, I heard the answer earlier. I was listening.
Oh, you didn't have to tell anyone that,
Oh, okay.
right?
They just would have thought I was smart.
That's right. 7 of them were left-handed. Okay, how about one more?
Be careful.
This person was the 10th president of the United States, and he had 15 children. Can you imagine that White House?
No, it's not so white anymore.
15 children, exactly. Who had 15 children? The most out of any president. Any idea
That we know of.
that we know?
So funny. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I'll be good.
That was good, Kyle. That was good. Who had 15 children, more than anyone? I'm seeing Adams. Just give it a good guess.
Madison.
Madison was the shortest president.
Oh, he was the shortest.
We already talked about him. Tyler.
Yeah.
So let's see. Deb, you are correct. John Tyler. He was our
Tyler.
10th president. John Tyler. The 10th president had
I used
15
to know
children.
all the presidents.
I used to too, but I don't
Not
remember
anymore.
him anymore.
No.
I don't know. So on the other hand, if he had 15 children, who had no children? Do we know that? James K. Polk. James
Oh,
K.
Polk.
Polk, yeah. Well, there you go, friends. There is your President's Day
Vital
trivia.
information.
Very important. Now, whenever you're in that next trivia game, you just keep everything we talked about in the back of your head. Remember, 7 left-handed presidents. There you go. Right up Kyle's alley.
Yeah.
All right. All right, everyone. Well, we hope that we brought a smile to you today. And theme number 1 is all done for us. We're ready to head on over to theme number 2, where, oh my goodness, do you realize I didn't even talk about the theme? Guess what? We've got a new theme this week, and it's all about going back to the basics.
You did mention basics, but we
I
didn't
did
say
mention
what
that.
we were going to do today.
Today, we're talking about borders. Very
Borders.
important.
Oh.
Very important. I say that borders are kind of the unsung hero of the quilt. They can really make or break it.
Or, yeah, I've had some horror stories.
Yeah, yep. So we're going to take a closer look at some of Kyle's borders that she's brought in, and then I'm going to be able to teach you a little bit more about the proper way of attaching your borders. You don't want to miss it, because you might just learn something that took me a long time to learn myself. And then for theme 3, stick around, because we're going to be talking about
Math.
Math. Yep, we've got math going on in the house today. So something to look forward to. All right, we'll be back right after this. Last week, 3 Themes Live was seriously delicious. It was all about dessert first quilting. I mean, give us all the jelly rolls, layer cakes, and honey buns, and we'll whip something together real quick.
We also had our special guest, Amy Smart of Riley Blake Design, stop by. She shared with us her best tips for working with pre-cuts. We made quilts, table runners, and coasters.
And we're not just talking about food here.
Well, not entirely about food.
If you know, you know. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you especially need to watch these shows.
Join us live every Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Eastern. So what are you waiting for? You belong here. Catch up on last week's shows via Facebook or YouTube by clicking the links below.
3 Themes Live is where we always have something to make you smile,
Something to learn.
and something to discover. Let's go.
Calling all creative minds. We want to see the creative borders you've sewn. Show us your wackiest, most clever ways you've bordered your projects. Send your photos to marketing@mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com, and we may use them on 3 Things Live.
Welcome back, everyone, to 3 Themes Live. I'm Kris.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're so happy to be with you today. Now, in the comments, that was interesting. Elisa said George Washington had no children, just stepchildren. I didn't know that.
I didn't know it either. I thought that was interesting.
The
God, we got
things
some
that you
smart people.
learn on 3 Themes Live. It's amazing.
I know.
All
Getting in the
right.
back of my
Well,
head.
we had a little history lesson today. Now it's time for a little math, right?
Oh, yeah.
You got this. We're going to have
All
such
the
a
kids
great
are out
time.
of school today. Why do I have to do this?
Oh, that's so true,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
All right, Kyle. Well, to start off with, I asked Kyle if she would bring in some of her favorite quilts that she has at home that might have a little bit different take on a border. So let's go ahead and start out with that, Kyle.
Okay.
What did
this
you bring?
one was one of the first ones that I did.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is.
I brought this one because it, I know.
Holy
aren't
cow,
those
like
all-
little fish
What it
ties
adds
on
to
there?
it.
Yeah.
And in the border, you wrote in, Daddy caught a fish,
Oh.
fried it in a pan, this whole poem.
There we go.
Yeah, so it's kind of
Fishy,
cool.
fishy in a brook.
Yep.
I love that. So that's
So if
part
you've
of your
got just
border.
a plain white border,
Yeah.
you can fill it in with anything.
I love that. Plus, I really like the patchwork that you
Yes.
have here,
Yes.
too. It really adds to it. You could have had more of a solid, but I think that looks really
I think
cool.
it was really nice.
Okay, I love it.
Okay.
Next one.
This one, I remember this one. I did not know how to read a pattern when I started this, but I was like, oh my gosh. So I think there's
Wow.
something off in the corner, but we won't look at the corner.
All right,
But this is me, totally. The colors,
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
is definitely you. Wow, that's
that
so
was a lot
bright.
of cutting.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
This was one of your first?
Yes.
Holy
How crazy am
cow.
I?
No, that's amazing.
Took me, I started it, one of my first ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
it took me a little while.
Look
But
how
I
cute
like
that
this
is with the
And this
triangles.
is just 2 pieces on there.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, see that?
Yes.
What a cute idea,
you
huh?
You must have done like a strip piece.
Yes,
Is that
it was a
right?
strip piecing ruler
And
or
then
whatever.
you cut it
Yeah.
as.
Isn't that fun?
I love that. That's a great idea. Oh my goodness. Okay. Fun.
Okay.
All right. I hope you all are thinking about how you could use that.
Yes. Okay, this is one of my favorites. And I did this a few years ago.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I love this, Kyle.
Yes.
Wow.
See,
Scallop.
and this is kind of the border because we've got all the pinwheels in the center. Mm-hmm. And then filled it in with this, and then pinwheels and blocks.
Cute.
I think I must love to applicate.
This was more of your inner border right here.
Right.
And then you did scallops on
Yep.
your outer border.
Yep. Oh, boy.
Which we're going to talk about scallops tomorrow.
You're going to cover that up.
Oh.
Okay.
You know what? I bet no one even noticed
No.
it until you said that.
I never even noticed it before.
You don't point out your mistakes.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Look at that, guys.
Look at that. See that?
Yeah.
That is interesting. Okay.
is.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. Look
No,
at that.
it's just for display.
Exactly. This is beautiful.
Yeah, but
I
doing
love a scallop border.
borders.
Yeah.
I was afraid, so I had one of my friends do it.
Really? You didn't do it?
No. I had to be
You
honest.
could now.
I could now.
You could now.
But I won't.
Absolutely. That's right. I love that. Well,
It's fun.
It really.
Cute
Oh,
little
look how cute.
ladybugs.
That just adds such a daintiness to that. Okay, next.
Okay. And then this was one that we did here in the shop.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
Watermelons.
This is by, I think that by Jill Finley.
Yeah.
Oh, look how cute that is.
Isn't that cute? That was a giant area there.
That's a huge space.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Wow.
And the rickrack added dimension.
I love the idea that, I mean, you could have, again, put just a white border on or just a red border.
Yeah.
But look at what this adds to this
It adds
quilt.
so much.
Okay, next.
And then
Gosh,
this
you've
was
got some great ones
This
here.
was a box thing that we had a long time ago.
I remember, yeah.
Yes.
With Dear Jane fabrics.
Is that what it was? Okay. And this is
Okay.
a good idea.
Yes, it is.
Use up all your scraps. Scrappy look.
So if you can see here, maybe I'll go in this direction.
So you see the corner?
You can see that you have an inner border that's white, which is the same as your background, which I
Right.
love. Then you did a patchy border, and then you finish it off
With some more.
with a full border
Yeah.
of white.
Isn't that
That
fun?
is really cute.
Really
okay,
fun. Okay.
love that.
Now, I have to tell you the story behind this one.
Okay.
I am not a purple person.
Okay,
This is totally not me.
you're not a Cindy.
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
our Cindy loves
And
purple.
I
All
gave
right.
my friends, I gave them all little charm packs for my birthday. I gave them all a charm pack and said,
sweet.
okay, come up with a pattern yourself. Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, so we
How
had a little
fun.
contest like.
I love that.
Yeah, isn't that
Okay.
fun?
Yes. So this is beautiful. This would be considered a stop border, or some might refer to as an inner border.
Right.
And then you have your outside, and look at the scallops.
again.
This is more of like a wavy scallop.
This is one you can make mistakes on.
Well, the thing about the nice, gentle scallops is that it actually is very easy to add your binding to, isn't it? Yeah, because you're going to cut it on the bias and just add.
Yep.
Those are some beautiful
Aren't they fun?
examples. Yes, they
I do
are.
love the quilt, even though I'm not a purple person.
I think it's absolutely gorgeous, for sure. All right, so Kyle, let's talk about borders for a minute, because I know that, you know, you are an avid long armor. You long arm for yourself, you long arm for others here at the shop. What is one of the most difficult things as a long armor when it comes to borders, or when it comes to the quilt? What is one of the issues that you see
Okay.
people having?
they are stretching their fabric or they're stretching their borders.
Okay.
And that makes a big difference. I tried to show it on these, but it didn't show up that much because
On this one?
I don't love to see, but you can see it's kind of puckery. So it doesn't look great.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, so it looks a little
Yeah.
wavy. Just, she'll give you the formula and just lay it down. You're not trying
Yeah.
to make it fit in.
Yeah. Well, and there is a right way to make it fit in, and we'll talk about that. But what happens is this becomes, I like to call it an overly friendly border. Do you know why?
No.
Because it waves.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I'm
Those
just saying,
waves.
those waves, they're flying high. And I know.
Yeah.
That's an oh brother moment, right?
Yo, brother.
Oh, brother.
Okay, I learned one trick when I first started here, started long arming, is that, okay, people don't want to take all their borders off. I don't blame them. I wouldn't either.
Right.
Nope. And so you just place your hand in strategically to help it just ease into it. You can ease quite a bit into it.
Well, the problem happens. Now, tell me in the comments if you have ever had this issue with one of your quilts. Maybe it was an earlier quilt when you first started quilting, or maybe it's even now. Have you ever had a quilt that doesn't lay quite straight?
No, never.
No, never, right? And or a quilt that had this extra bulk in it that ended up you.
That makes
That's
a lot
what
of
I mean.
noise.
Yeah.
When that needle goes through.
Oh, yeah. And then that's what I call the wave. Peggy said that sounds like a mic joke, Kris. Yep, you're right. He'd be so proud of me.
He would.
But that's one of the issues that sometimes people will find is they go, why isn't my quilt lining up? Why is it not being square?
Right.
A lot of it has to do with the borders. All right? So.
My other thing that we get a lot of times is you put your border on one side, you put your border on the other side, and then you put your top on, and you don't square up the corners.
Yes.
Yeah, so that makes
You know
it a
what
little
I
bit hard.
used to do?
What?
And yeah, okay. Is anyone else out there
I probably
to
have.
do this? Okay, I used to do this all the time. I know better now. I used to just start sewing the border on, and then what would I do at the end?
Just cut it.
Yep. Oh, but that's not what you want to do.
No.
Because actually, the center of the quilt, it's not all created equal. As
really?
good of a
I thought it
quilter
was
as
just
you
mine.
are, as you could be as precise as possible, and I bet you that it's not going to be
It's not gonna
exactly square.
all be exactly.
Right.
But look at this. Look at how
I
straight
know.
that is.
Yeah,
Are you so impressed?
I am impressed.
Thank you.
I am. I'm seriously
I only
impressed.
put one border on because I stretched that. So I got to take it off.
Right. So, are you ready for a little math lesson?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay, pull out your calculator.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh.
all of you at home, pull out your calculators because I'm going to come on over here to the whiteboard. We're going to have a little bit of math going on today. All right. And hopefully this will be something that you could use. All right. So, when we're talking about adding a border to a quilt, it's really important that you actually measure your quilt beforehand. So let me show you a little bit more about what I mean. All right.
Can I have your face for a minute?
Can you have my face? All right. Here we go. Let's open up the calculator on your phones. All
Okay.
right. Everyone at home, do you have your phones, your calculators? All right. I asked Kyle earlier if she had a calculator. And what did you say?
I left my phone downstairs.
And you said that calculators are for old people.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, here we go. So
I have fingers and toes.
that's right. Let's say this is the center of your quilt, okay? So again, you might think that this side is equal to this side, and if you just measure your border and you put it on the same, it's not going to be the same. Or if you sew your border on and you cut it at the end, it's actually not going to be the same as this side.
True.
So there's something really important we have to do, all right?
Even though we think we've got it exactly,
Yeah.
just sewing and feeding it through.
So what we're going to do is we're going to measure in 3 spots.
3.
Yeah, 3 because the center, it could be different from the outsides. This could be different, this could be different, and this measurement could be different.
Kind of crazy,
right?
Then what am I going to do?
Okay, well, let me show you. So let's pretend that this one, the left one is 75 and a half. Okay, 75.5. So put that on your calculator. All right, everyone at home, I hope you're doing 75.5. And then let's say, for example, the middle is 75. Whoa, that's a 1/4 inch off, right? And then...
Quarter.
Or a half, yeah.
Look at my math.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? Let me change that. Let's do 75 and a 1/4.
Okay.
And then we're gonna do, well, let's do 75 over here. Okay. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
This could be a half off the difference between those two. All right. So what you want to do is you're going to actually take those 3 measurements and add them together.
Okay.
Okay, so what number does that give me, Kyle?
I didn't put them all the way in.
Okay, so go ahead and add 75.5 plus 75.25 plus 75. What's the number we have?
225?
Yeah, 225.
0.75.
225.75?
If I did it right.
All right, you are correct. Okay, so that's the total, right? Now, to find the average here, this is the goal of doing this. We need to divide it by how many measurements. So we're going to divide it by 3. This is exciting stuff, folks. All right, so what is 225.75 divided by 3?
I hope it's 75.25.
It is!
Oh,
So 75.25, what does that translate to in quilter language?
75 and a 1/4.
75 and a 1/4. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to pre-measure your borders to all be 75 and a 1/4. All right?
On the sides.
On the sides. You're not going to do 75 and a half here, and you're not going to do 75 here. We're actually going to take this number, and that's what we cut our borders to, okay? 75 and a 1/4 here, 75 and a 1/4 here. So that's the math. Now let me show you how this works with the quilt.
Yeah.
So
I did not cut
Kyle
this.
brought this quilt in right here. That
was a
is
long time ago done by
needing
my
some
daughter.
borders. It's really cute.
It is cute.
Okay, so what you want to do, if I'm adding on another border here, and we're going to pretend that this is 75 and a 1/4, the first thing that you need to do is fold it in half to find the center. All right.
Before you put any borders on?
Yes, before you put any borders on. So we're going to find the center here and do a little mark or a pin or something. And then if you'll grab me the border, please. Then you take your 75 and a 1/4 border and you're going to fold it in half as well to find the center.
When I'm trying to be good, I do this.
It is a little more work for
It is.
sure, but
It
I
is.
promise the results are worth it.
They are.
So I found the center there, I found the center here. So what you do from here is you actually
Match those
match
up.
those up.
But right
Whoops,
sides
right
together.
sides together. Okay? And then you pin it. And then, do you know what I do next? I don't pin from here. I'm going to do something else before
What?
that. I'm going to pin my corners.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So I pin in the center, I pin on the corners, and guess what? That might mean a little bit of stretch, depending on, what that measurement ends
Quarter
up
of
being.
an inch isn't
right?
too bad.
No. And there we go. All right, so pin, and then you ease all the other pins in between.
Don't
So
wait until
I would
pin
just
to
ease it in, just kind of play with it, and ease that in. Then you do that on this side. Then you sew it on. Then you're gonna do the same thing over here on the other side. Fold it in half, fold your border in half, pin, pin, okay? Then sew it on. you're then going to just repeat
the two sides?
for the other side. So then you would go across 3 places,
Okay.
divide that number by 3.
Because you've added the borders now.
Because I now added the borders. So that makes a difference as well,
Yes.
right? Divide it by 3, find the average, and then you cut your borders to the average. If you will do this, all of a sudden your quilt will become square.
That'll be awesome.
Isn't that great?
That would be really nice.
So, and your long armor will love you.
Yes. Absolutely.
Your long armor will love you,
Absolutely.
and you won't have overly friendly
No.
borders, right?
No.
Okay.
We're not very friendly when we're long arming, right?
That's right.
We're all
All
alone
right.
usually.
So that's basically how it works. Are there
wasn't
any
bad math.
questions? That wasn't bad, right?
No.
Not too bad at all. And so the fuller border on bottom, yes, yeah, you could definitely do that for sure. Will you miter your corner? William is asking.
No.
This
I have.
You have. I have too. I don't often
No.
miter my
There's
corners.
no reason. Not in my world.
Yeah.
Not in my world.
The only reason I would miter a corner is if you had like
You're trying to line them up, the design.
like a border print on there, right? So yeah, if you were doing miters, it would be a little bit different than doing it this way, but I would still measure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
still measure for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're measuring that shorter
Yeah.
sides of your border, not your outside point. You're
Right.
measuring inside.
Yeah, right.
And then take into consideration
Now,
how wide your border
You
is.
should also do the same step in the same process, even if you're doing multiple borders. So if you have an inner border, do the same thing. Repeat again for the outer border.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And if you have another border, go ahead and repeat again for the outer border.
Is there a rule? Do you put the sides on first or the top and bottom?
It's a personal preference.
Okay,
For
thank you.
me, I do sides 1st. What do you do?
I do sides mostly, but if I want it to look wider, then I'll do that, the
Oh,
top.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Draw your eye, whatever.
To draw your eye to a different
you
place.
can't
Yeah.
even see. No.
That's right. So, either way, I
Yeah,
think they're going to be good.
It's your quilt.
It is your quilt. Ultimately, that's the whole message is, you know what? Hey,
If it brings you joy.
congratulate yourself on getting something done and for adding those borders. And I just know that, for a lot of people, that extra wave gets a little tricky and they go, why is this happening?
Yes.
Well, this could be why.
It could be. Here's my thing. We can hide a lot when we
Yeah, when you
long arm.
quilt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, the larger the quilt is, or the more,
Oh, yeah, it gets off.
the more piecing that you have in that quilt, the more it's going to be off. It's just inevitable. Just count it for what it is. And next time you add borders, I want you to try this method out and let us know in the Friends of My Girlfriend's Facebook
Yes.
page how it worked for you and how perhaps you were really surprised that it was off between
Yeah.
the left and the right.
Yeah.
Now, if your number does not come out perfect, like at a 1/4 inch, just round up.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, here's my next thing.
Okay.
I will put a quilt on the machine, and it looks pretty good at the top, and then I get out to the bottom, and I've got the corner going down, out to the side,
That's
and down
because
further.
it's because you have too much bulk in there. Yeah, it's because there's.
So I should have squared up the middle of my quilt. I mean, you square up everything as you go.
You square up everything as you go. Exactly. Okay, well, we hope that helped. That's what we're talking about all this week is a little back to the basics and talking about borders.
Borders can add a lot.
They really can. Now, do you always have to add a border to every quilt?
Modern quilts don't have borders.
That's right. Yep, absolutely. So, have fun with your borders. Don't be scared of them. And hopefully a few tips will help you along the way.
Can you
All
make a
right.
border too wide?
Yes, you can. And I'm going to talk about that
Oh, yeah.
in theme number 3 because we're going to talk a little bit more math as we dive into the golden ratio. The golden ratio. You don't want to miss it. I've got a handout for all of you. So we'll be back right after this.
Calling all longarm enthusiasts. Come meet up with my girlfriend's quilt shop at the Handy Quilter headquarters in Salt Lake City. Learn from the pros and finally master the longarm quilting machine. If you are thinking of buying a longarm or just need some informed practice, then join us March 5th through the 7th. The pricing for this event is unbeatable, and we'll also be offering discounts on all the needed supplies. So, yeah, you can afford to come. For more information, visit us at mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com or click the link below.
Today we're talking about a new quilt block. It's a courthouse, so it is very similar to a log cabin block, right? We're talking about foundation paper piecing today. You're gonna start out with a 1.5 inch square, and you're going to actually place it on the back of the paper that is marked. You need to take a little glue stick, and just a little dab will do. And you only do that the first time.
Right.
I want to place the tapered edge between the 1 and the 2. And this is going to help me to know exactly where to fold my paper back. So I just flip this over. I now know exactly where to cut. Then I'm just going to place it right sides together, and you're going to sew on the line between the 1 and the 2. And you continue building this 4-inch block until you get, ta-da! All right, welcome back everyone to theme number 3 here on 3 Themes Live. And right before we had the little break, you had a great question and you said, is there such a thing as making a border too big? And yes, there is. I mean, again, it's your quilt, you can do what you'd like, but there is this amazing formula out there that has been used for ages and ages. You see it in nature, you see it in art, you see it even in quilting, and it's called the golden ratio. So let's take a look at what exactly I'm talking about.
The golden ratio. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is the golden ratio? Well, let me break it down for you in the simplest way possible. The golden ratio is a mathematical concept that has been around for centuries. It's a special number that is approximately 1.6181. The golden ratio can be found in nature, art, and even in our own bodies. Have you ever noticed how sunflowers and pine cones have spirals that seem to follow a specific pattern? That's the golden ratio in action. It's like nature's secret code. From seashells to galaxies, this ratio can be found everywhere. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Salvador Dali used the golden ratio in their masterpieces. It helps create a sense of balance and harmony that is pleasing to the eye. So knowing about the golden ratio might just make you feel a little more connected to nature and the universe as a whole.
All right, what do you think?
Interesting. That
Isn't
was
that
really interesting.
I mean, you find it in nature, you find it in art. A lot of times, those who are photographers out there, they know a lot about the golden ratio. So how, as quilters, do we use it? Well, I've got some pictures I want to show you up on the screen, and let's take a closer look at what I'm talking about. This is a picture of a quilt. Does it look balanced to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Looks
Those
really nice.
borders, there's actually 3 borders on there. And
One isn't overpowering the other.
exactly, you're right. And if I had that quilt and I had maybe like a 10-inch border on there, it would be a little too much, wouldn't it be? Now, here's the thing. A lot of people will think to themselves, so if I want to make a quilt larger, I'm just going to add a bunch of borders, right? But all of a sudden it starts taking on a whole new life that you're not ready for.
Looks like you got tired.
Exactly, you got tired, you gave up. So it's better to either make more blocks and then add your borders, or to consider the golden ratio. So let's take a look at this picture right up here. You're going to see that this does not have, excuse me, sorry. I'm going to have the picture before that, Abby. All right, there we go. So the one on the left, Do you see how that border is just too big?
I can't even see what the design is.
It's a very small quilt, maybe a mini quilt,
Okay.
and the border's too large. But then there's also the opposite side of that, where a border could be too small with a large quilt.
Okay.
So it works in both directions. You could either have a small quilt with a big border and that doesn't look balanced, or you could have a big quilt with a tiny border and that doesn't look balanced either. So if we go to the first picture that we had up, let's take a look at that. There we go. With the arrows, I have actually showed you my math here. So my first one was 1.5 inches wide. Then I'm going to, the golden ratio is that you multiply that number, that first number, by 1.6. Okay, 1.6
why not
is the golden ratio.
1.5?
I know. You do it by 1.6. Grab your calculator, and that's, no, you don't have to right now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
But that's what you're going to do at home. You're going to find what are you going to have your inner border to be, and it doesn't really matter. Usually I do a pretty fairly thin border, okay, inner border. But from that point, I'm going to multiply it by 1.6. So if I take 1.5 and I multiply it by 1.6, the number it gives me is actually 2.5. So my second border is going to be cut to 2.5. And then I take my second border number at 2.5 and I multiply it once again by 1.6. It gives me 4 inches. Now I have the perfect proportion.
I did not know that.
Isn't that crazy?
That is good. Because that is very pleasing to the eye.
It is pleasing to the eye. It looks balanced, doesn't it? Let me show you right here on this at my cutting mat. I actually have this for all of you.
That there's cutting and your size that is finished.
Oh yeah, you always have to add a 1/2 inch because you know your cut measurements.
Yeah.
But if you take a look at these two pictures, this is the one that looks more balanced, right?
It does.
Look at this one. Again, some might think, oh, I'm just going to add this giant border onto it.
I've done
and
that.
yeah,
done
I
that.
have too, but that doesn't look very balanced, does it?
it doesn't.
Okay. So we'll talk about one more thing up on the screen. And this is to answer the question of what if I only want to add one border. So let's go ahead and bring that on the screen, Abby. If you only want to add one border, you have a few different options, okay? So you're not actually trying to think of proportional borders one after the other, but you're gonna take a look at the quilt. So for example, the quilt on your left, sometimes you can base the border off of the size of the blocks that are most common in there. So for example, if most blocks in the quilt are 2.5 inches, okay, just like the one on the left, I have these 2.5 inch squares, right? If I multiply that by the golden ratio, multiply 2.5 times 1.6, you have a 4 inch border to add. That's gonna look pleasing to the eye.
I always wondered, how do you know how big to make your borders?
Exactly. So
This is a good idea.
Do the golden ratio. Multiply the most amount of what the block is, and multiply it by the golden ratio, which is 1.6. And here's one final thought about the golden ratio, and that is this. You can also determine a pleasing border. Let's take a look at the screen again, and we're gonna now look at the photo on the right. You can take note of the different size blocks in the quilt, and this part, you don't have to multiply anything by 1.6. Maybe all you have to do is simply divide that size block. So for example, in the picture on the right, I have this block that is circled in yellow, and let's say that's a 10-inch block. Well, if I divide that either in half or thirds or even quarters, I'm going to have something that's more balanced to the quilt. So for example, in this one, if my block measures at 10 inches finished, if I divide that in half, I could put on a 5-inch border and it would look amazing. Okay.
That's good information.
So
I like that.
hopefully, you know, that's a discovery. I know I've talked about the golden ratio in the past, but I never had a handout for it. And so since
nice.
then, years ago, when I did it, I get asked oftentimes, what was that again that you talked about with the golden ratio? Well, friends, I've got a handout for you this
Nice.
time. And
Nice.
you can find this on our website as a free download.
Oh.
So you can share with all of your friends.
Good idea.
You show them how smart you are when
Yes.
it comes to the golden ratio.
I got my calculator.
Exactly. Grab your calculator and learn more about the golden ratio. It really is very helpful. Also, we have another handout for you, and that's on adding borders to a quilt.
Oh, how to do what you showed us?
Yep, so what I exactly showed you on the screen, you're going to be able to download both handouts absolutely free. They're also free in the club. Club members, it might be an easy way for you to find them, but if you're not, it is free for everyone today.
Go to our website?
Just head on over to our website and download these free printables, put them in a binder, and now you have some great information to
Just review
be
them
able
once
to
in a while.
review. Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a good idea.
So, all right, well that wraps
no
things
idea.
up for us today.
No idea.
Isn't it fun learning new things?
It is. It
is.
is. Unless it's really, really hard.
And this wasn't bad,
No,
right?
this,
okay,
this I
good.
can do. This especially with my handouts.
There you go. Yeah, with the handouts, you'll be golden. And again, some are asking about the club. Yes, it's in the club, but yes, it's also free to everyone.
Good.
You can find that
Nice.
download on our website. All right, friends. Well, I think that's all for us today.
All right.
Make sure and join us again tomorrow because I've got Suzanne in the house.
Oh, boy.
And her and I are going to be talking about scalloped borders.
Oh, I'm so glad it's not me.
And we're also going to talk about binding. Oh, you're a pro. What are you talking about?
Absolutely. I got it.
All right, everyone. We hope you are inspired. We hope you learned something new. Keep doing all the things you love. And we hope to see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.